Hey folks, this is Matt once again. Don't hunt what you can't kill. And if you're wondering what this is about, right off the bat, this is my favorite Van Damme film of all time. This is one of my favorite films of all time. By the time I'm uploading this, it should be about my birthday. And no one has to wish me a happy birthday. That's not what it's about. The only reason I bring that up is it's a good birthday to watch one of my favorite films. Have this great poster thanks to a very nice guy named Blaine who got it for me, I believe, around my last birthday, which was very cool. Also, for those wondering, I will take a few days off after this and then continue and finish the rest of the Van Damme movie reviews, go back and get to all the ones I missed. From JCVD, Replicant, No Retreat, No Surrender, and so on, Black Eagle, all of that. The reason I keep pausing a lot in the first minute is, where do I start with this? Because this is going to be a long review. Long as fuck. I would not be surprised if this is an hour long. And I'm sorry, it's going to have to be that way. Because it's my favorite John Woo film. I know most people would say Hard Boiled, and believe me, I can understand why, because Hard Boiled is great. But this was the John Woo film I first saw way back in 1993, the theatrical cut. It stars one of my favorite action stars, Jean-Claude Van Damme. I know at one point they weren't sure if John Woo was going to direct this film. There was at one point that Kurt Russell might star, but he was booked in a bunch of projects. Weirdly enough, Sam Raimi is a producer on this. I think Universal did that, because they worked with Sam Raimi on films as an Army of Darkness, Darkman, and they thought, well, if John Woo doesn't work out, this is his first American film, Sam Raimi can go in there and take care of it. But I believe even Sam Raimi said, no, it's John Woo, he'll take care of it, and he did. And I know at some points there was problems on the set between Jean-Claude and John Woo. For example, I know there was more Lance Henriksen than Van Damme in the movie, and Van Damme's like, wait a minute, I'm the star of the movie. Whether you want to call that a dickish move or not, he was right. It is his movie, and I would prefer it that way. But I know they patched things up because John Woo said nice things about Jean-Claude and vice versa. John Woo wanted to do Expendables 3 and would like to have had Van Damme versus Jet Li, but Van Damme's character died in part 2. I know they said they'd like to work on another movie together, which I would love to see. I'd be very curious. And I love this movie because, first off, the plot. Don't hunt what you can't kill. That's the plot of the movie. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with a simple plot. I don't always need a Nolan-esque plot. That doesn't mean it's always bad to have that kind of plot, but I love the kind of plot where it's the most dangerous game, hunters hunting someone. You've had films, Ice-T surviving the game. In a way, The Running Man is that, only in the form of a game show. I love those kind of stories. A lot of people nowadays, it's the Hunger Games. This is my Hunger Games. This film's like Hard Target. I like that it takes place in New Orleans. I thought Graham Revell did a great job on the score. Jean-Claude Van Damme with his mullet. It's my favorite character, his most badass character, Chance Boudreaux. Why do you call you Chance? Because my mama took one. Lance Henriksen's fantastic bad guy has some good henchmen like Arnold Vosloo, who was in The Mummy. Sven Thorsen, who's a buddy of Arnold. Yancy Butler, she did what she had to do. Wilford Brimley, he was fun for what he had to do. And believe me, I'm going to go in depth, and there's a lot of cuts to the film. There's the theatrical cut of the film in the US that has the most cut out. Then you have a DVD overseas, which I have, which has some of the workprint stuff in it, but not all of it. Then, of course, you have the NC-17 workprint, because this had gotten an NC-17, had a lot of shit cut out, which I'll get into. Then I have this, which is a version I edited together of the workprint and the theatrical cut. Most specifically, all the violence from the workprint, but then some of the stuff just seen, not really transitions, but even a woman walking into the morgue and is done in a John Woo slow-mo way, and certain transitions and certain other sequences that's not in the DVD overseas. And then also there's still a bit more violence even in the third act that's on the workprint but not overseas. One of the few things that the theatrical cut has over the word print, the NC-17 cut, which honestly when you watch it, it would have been rated R today. It's not like you have heads exploding and arms blowing off and nuts being pulled out. It's a lot of bullet hits. If a guy gets shot 2 times in the theatrical, he gets shot 10 times in the word print. If a guy got shot 4 times in the chest, in this one he gets shot 8 times in the chest. It's more just, holy shit, that's a lot of bullet hits on someone. But I was saying, there's some added stuff in it, and what the theatrical does have is the extended fight between Van Damme and Lance Henriksen. Just jumping ahead, when Van Damme and Lance Henriksen have their face off, Van Damme does that awesome super kick, gives him throws the grenade, and then it blows up. While I'm sure the people who saw the word print said, hey, we gotta have Van Damme punish the bad guy more. So that's when you get Van Damme, the badass, getting hit with the on fire wood, grabbing it, saying, fuck you, head punching, opening his pants. Hunting season is over. Dropping the grenade, headbutt from hell. But I know, I need to calm down. But this isn't going to be a lot of backstory about the film. That's not what I'm about. This is why I love the film so much. Again, it's my favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme film, hands down. This is what I love about action movies I miss. It's one of those old-fashioned reviews you would see. It's a jet-fueled, jet-propelled, adrenaline rush blast of TNT dynamite. That's what this film is. Some people have a problem with the first act, that it's too slow. To me, it's a fine build-up. It's a fine build-up that has a payoff. It didn't have a badass payoff, then I'd be pissed. I mean, back in the day, I was watching the theatrical cut a lot. And even that theatrical cut was my favorite Van Damme film. Because he's in the mullet, he's shooting 2 guns, he's doing this great stunt, this great stunt, this great stunt, the character chants, and I thought he worked fine as a Cajun. And let me get back to the beginning. Even the way the film opens up with the hard target symbol, the arrow, just blasting through, going through, past the camera, hard target. And then you have this character who you find out to be Yancey Butler's dad, but you don't know that yet. And he's being chased by these guys. I like the fact that you have a bunch of guys who are obviously some type of military, or they've had some type of training, led by Lance Henriksen, who is a great actor, made a wonderful bad guy. And then they hunt people for sport. And they give them this patch of money in this bag and says, if you can make it to here, you keep the money. If you don't, you die. And even you compare the theatrical cut in the US to, it's on the DVD overseas and it's on the word print. This guy, he's being chased, but he actually is able to fight back, which I don't know why they cut this out. When I say theatrical, I'm talking about the US cut. I'll just say the US cut. Is that, okay, he's being chased, and he's getting to these docks, and right off the get-go, you've seen a lot of action. Grenade launcher blowing up this building by him, and what's cut out of the US cut is there's this gas tank, and the guy grabs it, and you're wondering, what the fuck is he doing? I remember I showed this to my friend Effrey, who is also a huge fan of this movie like I am, and he had never seen this version before, with all the cut stuff put in. And he's like, well, why is he dumping gas on him? It's like, no, he actually gets one. It actually shows that this guy is not just a victim. He had some training, he can fight back. Because he rolls as they're shooting at him, there's explosions going on, and he actually throws the gas tank as someone's shooting, and it blows up the gas tank, and it actually catches some of them on fire, and he actually kills some of them. So it shows, okay, this guy's not just a floundering fish of a victim. It shows that, oh, okay, this guy can actually fight. This guy can actually defend himself. And he's getting through the docks, he's ready to get to the boat, and shoots the arrow, boom, right through the chest. And you even get more of an extended shot in the uncut versions. I mean, arrow right through him, right through his dog tags. He falls through the sort of the catwalk that's getting to the boat, and then he falls to the water. And it shows how asshole they are, where they put his body and step on his face to close his eyes. Like, literally just step on him as if he's an ant. And it just makes you really want to hate these bad guys. And you get a little bit of Yancey Butler, and I thought Yancey Butler was fine for what she had to do. Where she wants to find her dad, and then finds out that he was homeless, and finds out that, she's like, why didn't he ask me for help? And there's this buddy who you find out is a buddy of Van Damme's character. Well, no one wants to tell them, their daughter, that they're homeless, and there's pride, and sort of try to make it by themselves. And she needs to hire someone to maybe help her out. She even goes to this cop, which I thought the female cop, the actress, did a fine enough job. And I liked a little bit that she has this little sort of almost looked like a giant cupcake, but like, it's for her birthday, and then she has to put it in the drawer, talk to her, and then as she does it, it's probably pretty much melted to nothing, and blows it. And there's some nice scene transitions that John Woo style. Now I know when the U.S. theatrical cut, people go, "This isn't even a John Woo film; it's been sanitized." That's because they didn't see the true version, where you see more of that scene transition, more of that slow motion, more pigeons, more violence. Fuckload more bullet hits. I mean, jumping ahead, they even cut out Van Damme on the Marshall shooting a vehicle that then flips over. Yeah, what? That was too violent? MPA, American Puto Association of Assholes. Asshole-ish motherfuckers need to get the lead out of their ass on this. And you're introduced... Now, what's interesting if you ever see the workprint version, and another reason why I love the workprint version, the NC-17 version, is Van Damme's voice is more natural. And I'm fine with Van Damme's voice in the theatrical, and it's on either DVDs, US or overseas. But in the workprint, it's more natural. His line delivery is more natural. It's not that's the best way I can describe it. It's more natural. It's as if he did his line delivery, and to me it sounded fine, but someone said you gotta go back and redub your whole dialogue. And again, I'm fine with his accent and stuff in the theatrical, but I would say the workprint, his voice is better. I know I said this 3 times, but I'm going to say it a few more times. It's more natural in the workprint, which is, I thought, I don't understand. Who the hell said what? Well, he's Van Damme. No one can understand him. I understood him perfectly each time. And it's not because I've seen the film dozens of times, so I memorized the dialogue. How's the coffee? A tragedy. And pretty much, Yancey Butler's there, and she's showing a lot of money that she shouldn't to the wrong people, and she goes out, some assholes come and smack her around, they want the money. And this is where you get the first chance to see Chance Van Damme as a badass. When you take your peed stick and your boyfriend and find a bus to catch. And then he has this nice overcoat, and he reveals his leg, because that's the only gun he needs right now, is his fucking leg. As a nice western type of standoff with these 2 assholes in front of him. And I just love the way it's shot. Van Damme and John Woo, they just worked very well together. I wish they could have done another movie or 2 together. I would love to see that. And John Woo just knows how to shoot this. I wish John Woo would go back to this kind of action movie, because it's been forever. I know he's doing his epic movies and overseas in China. He hasn't done a movie like this in forever. But I wish he would give it one more go. I really do. Or a few more goes. But in this scene, I just love the way it's done. I always remember it, where I really like Grant Reville's music in this instance. Just fuck you, face tick in the face, then fuck you with the same leg, tick in the face, turns around, nice slow-mo, guy on the hood of the car, bad mistake because he just tits the fucking legs off, oh shit, right on my back. A guy tries to get it, grabs it, breaks out, yeah, slams his face right into one of those things you put your coins in for parking. A guy tries to come at him. He does a fantastic leg sweep, gets him right off his feet. A guy comes out with a knife. He does one of those cool moves where he rolls against the body, kicks, and then the back of his leg just hits him right in the back of the head, and the guy goes through the window. And I think that's when he then breaks the arm and then twirls him around and says, "Fuck off. Kiss my ass, I'm chance." Gives the wallet back to the lady and then walks away like a badass in slow motion. And I like the grand reveal, that guitar, New Orleans. Do 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 do. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. And I just love the character because he just, I'm going to keep saying this word 1,000 times, badass, because that's what fits the film is. It's a badass movie, it's a badass film, has badass action, has badass stunts, has badass explosions, has badass shots. I mean, even going ahead, you see that arrow, the scene where someone shoots an arrow and it just goes right over Van Damme's face and then hits over here. I mean, just a lot of epic moments. And John Woo said, "Fuck it, if I'm going to make my first American film, I want to go buck wild with that." And I think he did. I think he did. I mean, there's more action in this film than Face Off. And I can watch Face Off, but Face Off gets the praise in the past. I'm sorry, I prefer Van Damme being a badass, kicking people in the face, than Nicolas Cage going, "I want his face off." That's just my preference. I'd rather see Van Damme in a mullet running away with explosions in slow motion than John Travolta going, or Nicolas Cage and John Travolta's voice going, "Die! Die!" And I don't watch Face Off, but I prefer this movie, especially the uncut word print version. And pretty much Yancey Butler goes to Van Damme, and Van Damme, he's like, "Well, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I'm gonna have this job, be a sailor, be on this boat," but then he doesn't have the money. And even the reveal where Yancey Butler's about ready to leave, and then Van Damme's revealed and just walking into the car. I mean, John Woo makes a scene as simple as that seem like an epic moment. John Woo knows how to do it. He just wanted to go for as much style as possible, which I appreciate. I'm fine with style, to make the film interesting, to make the film go, to make the film keep your interest. And they get to know each other. And there's a scene that was in the word print that was cut. This is later on in the film, which I was fine, which gives a little bit more into a relationship between them, where they talk a bit more. And it doesn't happen at this moment. I'm just jumping ahead. I'm jumping all over the place, I know, but fuck it. Where it's not a love scene, but you get the idea they're about ready to have one, and I'm fine that was cut out because it wasn't needed. And I even cut that out of the version I edited together because it wasn't really needed. But that's like one of the non-action scenes. But what's weird enough is the word print. A lot of times you see extended stuff and it's just a bunch of people talking. This is one of those things where the word print, most of the extended stuff is violence, which I'll get to, especially in the third act, but even stuff in between. Like I said, the stuff that's on the DVD overseas and on the word print where the guy is throwing the gas tank and actually kills some of the bad guys. Why that was cut out of the theatrical, I have no idea. I wish Universal would get their heads out of their ass, take that word print, add in the theatrical cut extended stuff, and then release that. If you could do it, if Fox do it for Alien 3, which doesn't deserve it, Hard Target deserves it. But hey, what do I know? I'm just the #1 fan of this movie, and I'm proud to do that. #1 fan of Hard Target. I proudly wear that title. Rambo Ride for life, Hard Target for life. You know, I always said Cobra was my favorite action movie, my favorite movie, but it's now competing with Hard Target when I'm watching this again. I'm like, I don't know, is Cobra #1? Because Hard Target is really competing. I don't know, if I ever see the supposed uncut version of Cobra is somewhere out there in Never Neverland. Maybe, but you know, when I see all this stuff, if the uncut version of Hard Target was released in theaters, which I said, it would have gotten an R rating today, I think more people would still be talking about Hard Target. It should be talked about more. But pretty much one thing leads to another, and they find out, they're trying to look for information. When you're homeless, some homeless people, they put out these pamphlets. You have a booty call, sex talk, stuff like that. They see this guy, and this guy's getting a massage, and then Van Damme just presses his neck, say, "Hey, you miss me?" Just pressing his face right into the mat, trying to get some information. And even there's a moment where between him and Arnold Vosloo, just a sort of eye-to-eye moment that you know is going to come back later in the film in an epic way. It just, John Woo also makes his bad guys very prevalent with presence, showing them in a shot or in a badass moment in slow motion. Even later on with Lance Henriksen and Arnold Vosloo, they see the same guy that Van Damme saw, and they beat the shit out of him. It's like, well, wait a minute, he's not the guy we asked for. We wanted a guy with no family, but this guy has a family. First you're stupid, and now you're sorry, says Lance. And they actually, you see this in the work print, the whole cut. This is not even in the DVD overseas. You see the whole thing where they take his ear and they cut it off. Then you have Arnold Vosloo, who I think this is his best role. He gets the scissors like, if I come back here, I cut me a steak, and just stabs the scissors right into the wall. And you have certain scenes. One scene that is in the work print that didn't need to be in there, that I did cut out, which I thought worked better in the theatrical, is there's a scene where Lance Henriksen plays the piano. And for some reason in the work print, there's a mixture of real animal hunts footage, animals being killed. I don't think that was needed. That I understand being changed for the theatrical. That's one of those few instances. But pretty much they didn't know who is this Van Damme character. While Van Damme is looking through the side, finds one of the dog tags, sees that there's an arrow hole through it. Someone attacks him. He's kicking their ass, but they grab him. They hit him right in the leg. Tell your bitch to leave. Get the fuck out of town. They kick him, and then he goes to the police station. I always like the line, "Why are you arresting me for getting beat up without a license?" And then the Yancey butler goes, "Oh my gosh, you look awful." And Van Damme goes, "Oh honey, you're hurting my feelings." And pretty much Van Damme understands that no, it was not an accident. He was murdered. And even later on, there's a scene where I said before, the female cop is going to the morgue, and I keep saying Van, John Woo is shooting that in a slow-mo, sort of making her presence known. And certain shots that are cut out of the theatrical for some reason, overhead shots and shots from far away and establishing shots, which I don't know that. It's as if they said, okay, John Woo, make a John Woo film. Okay, John Woo does it. You know what? Fuck that. Let's cut this out. Let's cut this out. Let's cut this out. Let's cut that shot. That's slow-mo. It's too much slow-mo. So let's cut a bunch of this slow-mo out. And then let's cut these certain wide shots that you do. Let's cut those out. And then, oh shit, these 50 to 100 things of violence, let's cut those things out as well. So, then why the fuck did you hire him in the first place? And then I want to get to the point where his buddy is hired. And he's not really hired. He doesn't know what the whole job is. It's just this guy going, hey, you don't do this. Do you have any family? And the guy goes, oh, no. And the guy who plays Van Damme's buddy, I thought he did a good job acting-wise. And he doesn't really know exactly what the job is. So he gets to this place, and Lance Henriksen pretty much tells him, here's a bag of money. And the guy kind of refuses at first. He realizes this is something's fucked up. Then Lance goes, "You tired of living like a bum? You want some fresh clothes and you want something good to eat," and pretty much tempting him. Says, "Hey, this is a bag of money. If you get to there, it's all yours." And pretty much they chase him down. They chase him through a cemetery. And what's nice is that the guy actually gets a guy. There's this fresh guy, this fresh new guy who's on the Lance Henriksen's team, and he fucks up, and the guy, and then again in the workprint version, you see a lot more bullet hits. So when Van Damme's buddy is shooting the guy, you see a lot more bullets. And then when the guy leaves and Lance Henriksen's pissed off at this guy, "You fucking amateur, what the fuck are you doing?" He actually slams the guy down with his leg, and this is much more prevalent in the workprint version. He puts his barrel down of his gun, that I don't know what kind of gun it is. I know it says on trivia on IMDb, but it's one of those guns that fires, and I swear, anytime he fires, it explodes. It's really awesome, that gun he has. And he fires, and boom, big hole through the chest, and you just see smoke coming out of the guy's chest. Much more prevalent in the workprint. I don't even think that's in the DVD overseas. You only see in the workprint. It just shows how much of a evil fuck Lance Henriksen is. Don't die. Don't die quietly. I just remember now, I know I'm jumping ahead, but a few other lines with Lance, he has some really great lines of dialogue. Like later on where he goes, "Go, you fucker, go, go!" They're all fucking brain dead. Or, "You are a fucking buffalo." It is memorable lines of dialogue as well in this film. But you really feel sorry for Van Damme's buddy because the guy's trying his best, and then he gets to where a crowd is. Down the street, people aren't paying attention because he's a bum, which I'm sorry, but that would be true in real life. If a bum's coming up, people would shove him away. Even get an appearance by Ted Raimi, funny enough. "Hey man, I ain't got no change!" And the guy's trying. And I like the way it's edited where he's going, it's slow-mo, and then it freezes, and you see Lance Henriksen, and then the guy's moving some more, and then it freezes, and then you see, cuts to Lance Henriksen, and then the guy sort of knows he's dead, and he stands his ground. I like the way it's edited. I thought it was really well edited. And then he gets shot to shit. And in the workprint, and the theatrical, he gets shot, and then he falls down. But this one, I think, is even more sad. The way it is. I don't think it's in the DVD overseas. I think, again, it's only in the workprint. Where he gets shot to shit, he falls to the ground, and then he gets back up. He's pretty much halfway dead, but he gets back up, and then he gets shot some more. Bah, 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 bah. I mean, if in the, let me put it this way, if he gets shot in the theatrical 5 times, he literally gets shot at least 40 times. That's what it seems like in the uncut version. If he gets shot 5 times, here's falls down, gets back up, and you're like, oh shit. Now you really hate these bad guys even more. And a nice more Van Damme sees his friend who gets taken in. Oh yeah, I gotta mention before that the scene where there's this morgue guy who was lying to the female cop, and Lance Henriksen goes to see him, and the guy's going, do you ever knock? And you see that the guy's been burning papers. And I know this scene, I believe it always freaked out my friend Effrey, where Lance Henriksen is cleaning the knife, and you're thinking, okay, maybe he's going to stab the guy, maybe he's going to do something else. But then the guy goes to the peephole of his door, and a nice shot where you see Arnavazu do this, and shoot the guy, boom, right in the head. And it is it's a bit more graphic in the uncut version. You know, just bullet hole goes right through the back side of his head. I think it always freaked my friend Effrey out because he lives in a populated place and there is a peephole, so maybe he'll go through the door and someone will go, boom! Sorry, Effrey. Boom. But again, it shows how vicious these bad guys are. You need to know that your bad guys are vicious And you need to hate your bad guys, so you want your good guy to punish the fuck out of them at the end. And believe me, Van Damme does. I'll say it again, don't hunt what you can't kill. This is Van Damme with a mullet. You don't want to hunt Van Damme when he's got a mullet, because he's the one to fuck your shit up. When you hunt some guy like Van Damme with a mullet, who do her helicopter kicks across your face, you're in trouble. And then we get to the scene where the big guy's trying to escape, and then Arnavazu there with a shotgun. And they're trying to leave. You know, I wouldn't want you to hurt my feelings. Boom, shotgun, and I like the way it's done, because you didn't need to see the head Maniac type of head explosion, like in Maniac from 1980. You just see the windshield of the car, you see a blast of blood hit the windshield of the car, and the windshield break. You got enough. And even Arnavazu's reaction, ooh, ooh, just the way he does it is just, wow, what an asshole, but it works well for the bad guy. And everything I've talked about is just the first half of the movie. So I still think there's a lot of good stuff happening. You have Van Damme kicking those guys' ass. You have the beginning where, again, when you see the uncut, the guy fighting back. Nice performances by Lance Henriksen and Arnavazu, cutting the guy's ear. The guy getting shot through the eye and the peephole. And it's a nice build-up. And I like these characters. I like Van Damme's character. And right here is when the movie then kicks into gear and it's straight out action. And the second half of the movie. Like half of the movie from then on is straight up action. Just Van Damme, the female cop, and Yancy Butler get there. The bad guys come in. The female cop, she gets shot. You see more of her getting shot. Again, everyone gets shot more and you see it more in the uncut version. This is one of those... The uncut version deserves to be uncut. It's not this bullshit, oh, there's 1 minute. Sorry, it's an uncut version, but it's 1 minute of someone talking. Or it's someone walking down a fucking street. Or it's someone petting a fucking dog. Oh shit, but it wasn't rated, so it's now unrated, uncut. No, this deserves it, because everything is extended in that instance. The female cop's death, you see a bit more blood from her and her stomach. And then she dies. And Van Damme just goes into action, getting the gun, flying across the top of the car, pow, 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 shooting people in the vehicle. He even hits Arnavazu. There's a guy on a motorcycle, pow, 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 pow. The guy gets shot sliding. Even when the guy is sliding, Van Damme is popping shots, pow, pow, pow. There's a guy, one of my favorite shots, on a motorcycle. Van Damme says, fuck this, goes, fuck you, boom. Gives a fuck you clothesline kick right across the guy's neck, and the guy flies off the motorcycle. I always wanted to see someone do that again. Hell, I'm a big Ninja Turtle fan. If I ever made a movie, I would have Raphael do the same move, where someone's coming, fuck you, clothesline kick, right off the motherfucker off the motorcycle. Grabs it, says, we gotta go, she's dead. Motorcycle chase. Which... There's extended stuff of this in the uncut version as well. Because of nice shots where they're shooting at him. He's blocking with the motorcycle. There's one where he hits a guy and slams him into a wall. Grab the bar. Gets a machine gun, shoots the guy. Pop, 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 pop. It explodes. Van Damme has to shove the bike up and goes through it. There's a shot that for some reason is not in the theatrical, where when he's shooting with the machine gun, he's shooting a car. And he shoots the front of the car, and the car swerves and then flips over and explodes. And I forget if it flips over and they're fucked up. I don't know why that was cut out. That's not violent enough for an NC-17. They're like, this is too much action. Sorry. It's too much action, John Woo. I know you're an action director, but it's too much. Sorry, it's too much action. Bullshit. You can never have too much action. It's horse shit. Just being a badass, and they get on the bridge and realize that, even when they're driving, You see even Lance Henriksen and such shooting at them. They're barely getting out of the way. Actually, no, Lance hasn't come in yet. They just get shot, and the bike is leaking. And he lets her get off the bike, makes her get off the bike, and just drives right into up the bad guys approaching. Now, granted, there's one part of this that's silly, but the rest of it is absolutely awesome. And I love the score by Graham Revell in this scene, where he's going and he's getting on top of the bike, and then he gets his legs and he's still on the bike handle, his hands, and his feet's on the seat of the car. And he has some nice shots. Like, whoever did this for real, obviously it's not going to be Van Damme, it's too dangerous. Whoever did this for real did an excellent job stunt-wise. This is what I'm talking about. There's some excellent stunts. The guy who's on the motorcycle, whose feet's on the seat and hands on the handlebar, that's excellent. And pulls out the gun, pow, 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 shooting people. You get more bullet hits and bullet squibs in the uncut version. People get shot to shit. Now, I will say, when he's skateboarding on a motorcycle, that's a bit silly. That part I don't think was needed, that tiny part, when he's skateboarding. But the rest of it is really cool. It's really cool. Someone was actually doing this stuff, which was mind-blowing to me. And the way it ends makes up for that silly bit. That one silly bit where he's just standing and shooting. The rest of it, because even when it's about to hit the car, the guy's not standing, the guy's actually on the handlebars. And then this insane stunt where the motorcycle hits the front and the Chance character goes across the top, rolls back, gets his gun, pow, 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 in the back of the vehicle, pow, 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 blows up. Boom! And I love Van Damme's, yeah! I'm like, yeah! Yeah! And that's not the end of it. Believe me, we're not even getting to the most excellent part, if I may speak like Bill S. Preston Esquire or Ted Theodore Logan. Because he's running, and you get this scene here where he's running, really nice use of slow-mo, and Anna Vazlo and his buddies are coming. They're just blowing up behind him, just barely missing him. And I swear there's more explosions in the uncut than in the theatrical. And then this is when the Lance Henriksen is coming with his kiss my ass gun and shoots it and blows this thing up right by Van Damme. It's like, oh, shit. Grabs a girl, here's a train coming, they jump on the train. And the bad guys follow them. Van Damme and Yancey Butler get off. They escape. They're being followed. So that's where you get the scenes, for example, where Van Damme gets that snake. And I know it's silly, but I have fun with it. Where he taps it and then just punches it. And Van Damme actually has a funny interview with Expendables 2. I forget which interview it is, where he mentions that apparently it was a studio exec, a CEO, who thought of that scene. And even Van Damme's like, oh, come on, it's silly. And even he admits that it's when he does the step, yeah! And I'm so serious, and he's even laughing about it, but it's just the fact he's so serious about it. It's a fun, it's meant to be funny, it is funny. Just the step, yeah! This guy is so badass, he knocks the fuck out of rattlesnakes. He says, fuck you, rattlesnakes. Pah! Imagine that. That's a guy you would want. If you have a snake, he'll grab him and just snap, crackle and pop its ass. Pop it right in its face. Then uses it as a trap. Go leave a present for my friends. Which later comes down and snaps the guy. And that's actually the scene where Lance grabs the guy and shoots him as if you don't die. Actually, like, sort of breaks. You hear, like, bones breaking. So I was like breaking his chest in or something, his neck. If you don't die quietly. And then that's when Van Damme and they get to a part which I know a lot of people make fun of this character, but I love Wilford Brimley's character. I think he's fun. I think he's entertaining. And it's not like he's in the movie for 80 minutes. And he's Uncle Duvet. And there's actually an extended bit where they're kind of having fun singing with each other. That's a little bit extended in the uncut, which I was fine with. It shows a little bit of their bond into their family. And I think Wilford Brimley's character, he's got a lot of heart to him. He's not annoying. He's not like Wilford Brimley's doing fucking 360 kicks. Although if he somehow was able to do that, man, I would buy more of his fucking, whatever he's advertising. what was it, oatmeal, and also diabetes. By the way, I fucking do both. If he was able to do 360 kicks, but it's not like Wilford Brimley's doing kicks and shit, shooting a few arrows and that's it, which is fine. And I thought Wilford Brimley, I like that. How do you know they're coming? Yeah, I can smell them. These people after you for business or pleasure? Both. And then Wilford Brimley gives him his shotgun, which, again, this is not in the theatrical, but I like the way it's edited in the uncut version where he looks at the shotgun. And I like that even the weapon has some, it's prevalent. Because Van Damme's looking at it, and then you see shots of the people he's known, the other people who have been killed, like the guy at the beginning, Yancey Butler's dad, his buddy, the female cop, and shows, okay, this is where the payback is going to happen. And the payback is going to leaves Yancey Butler there to go off, and Lance Henriksen and his team get to Wilford Brimley's place. I love this. They break in, the whole place blows up. What's funny, in the uncut version, when you watch a work print, they don't have the musical score, so they use scores for different movies until they're able to get a score. So in the work print version, is actually the Rambo score playing in this scene, which, of course, being a Rambo fan, I'm always happy with. But I like, Wilford Brimley says, I forget, was shoot too far, I forget what he says, but shoots the arrow, which barely goes by Lance Henriksen. I just like certain shots, just memorable shots, hits these bottles, and just makes everything blow up. I mean, before that, I like that he has this flask, and then gives it to Yancey Butler and says, do not spill, it'll kill the grass. And just makes everything blow up, just shooting his arrow makes everything blow up, goes off, practical explosions. And that's where you get the fun lines of Dial from Lance, where it says, will you fucking move, move, they're fucking brain dead. And then he trips one of his own men, and then he goes to another guy, you are a fucking buffalo. And they go off to chase Van Damme. Now, apparently in the original idea, there was going to be a boat chase, which John Woo used for Face Off, but it turned into horseback. But I was fine with the horseback scene. I was fine with it because some nice stunt work, because when you have explosions and a horse, look what happened with Christopher Reeve. That was a simple thing. He got paralyzed. So when you're working with a horse and explosions and such, that's still a dangerous thing to do. And even Van Damme, he's shooting at the helicopter with a shotgun. And again, in the uncut version, you see a guy get hit with a blast, big practical blood squib, and just blood dripping down from the guy's chest. It's a much more violent movie. And then you get to the creme de la creme, the fucking end-all be-all, one of my favorite action sequences of all time, and that is the Mardi Gras graveyard, where all these things that are used in Mardi Gras, all these big faces and all this other equipment, just a great, that's where John Woo can have his pigeons. They actually showed before, that's one scene I want to mention actually, well before, how Van Damme realizes about the dog tags is Van Damme watching, and there's a pigeon that lands onto the dog tags. I like the way in the theatrical, the way the music plays off, and how the pigeon gets on the dog tags, and Van Damme looks at it, his own dog tags, and says, well, wait a minute, there's usually two of them, but there was only one that the police found. And that's how Van Damme goes in and tries to find the second pair of dog tags, the second of the pair, and realizes, oh, wait a minute, this is a murder. So I like the way that shot was done as well. But then here, God, this ending, this third act is just, I remember even as a kid going, this is just insane. And yet, Hard Boiled, the ending to that is insane. And is longer, the hospital scene. And I love Hard Boiled. That's one I'll review John Woo's films way down the road, but I do want to review them one day because I do enjoy Hard Boiled. I do love that film, but I can't. This stars Jean-Claude Van Damme, one of my favorite action stars. And I love the villain, Lance Henriksen. I just love everything that goes on in this. So many epic shots. I mean, a guy goes on a motorcycle, shoots, and Van Damme goes, "Hey, pigeon," has a gas tank, tits it in one of the most epic shots in action films to me. One of my favorite shots of all time. Just the way it's edited, the angles he used, John Woo shoots it. The guy shoots out of bullets, pulls out his shotgun, boom, blows the gas tank up in front of the guy's face, which takes him and his motorcycle in a fireball out and through the window. Boom, big explosion. And even then, could you see more of the body and on fire on the bike on the ground? It seems this guy's ripping us a new orifice, as Arnold would say. And even Arnold is like, hey, maybe we should rethink this. And Lance is going, oh, what, chasing homeless guys are making you soft? We outnumber him 20-1. It doesn't matter because Van Damme is pissed and Van Damme's gonna fuck all your shit up. They're shooting at him, but Van Damme is shooting people with a shotgun. He's whistling and he's got pigeons on his shoulders. Like, okay, this is a guy. This guy has a mullet. He's crazy. He has a shotgun. He's letting pigeons on his shoulder. This guy you don't want to fuck with. Because he rolls down on the chain, shooting with a shotgun. Boom, boom, boom. And in the uncut version, they even cut out the flips that Van Damme's character does. Because he's doing flips to get out of certain ways. Which I get into. And God, this, just explaining this, where do I start? Do I start where, jump ahead, where Arnold Vosloo and Van Damme have the face-to-face, they're back-to-back to each other, and go both pop, 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 shooting each other, and Van Damme sees these guys and shoots them some more, shoots them some more, and people get hot and shot and hot to try, pop, 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 pop. A guy even tries to throw a hand grenade, but Van Damme shoots his ass like 50 fucking times, and the guy throws a grenade to himself and blows up. Even the body flies out of the glass. And then there's a guy in Van Damme kicks and shoots the shit out of him. Arnold Vosloo tries to throw a grenade. Van Damme says, fuck that, jumps through the glass. As it blows up behind him, the explosion propels him forward. He's able to get under the table and on his bat, sliding, pop, 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 shoot Arnold Vosloo. And if he just shot 3 times in the theatrical, he just shot 30 times in here. Pop, 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 pop. Or do you want me to get to the scene where Van Damme does a flip onto here, grabs a rope, swings down like he's Tarzan from hell, shooting, and you get more practical blood strips, shooting this guy, pop, 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 shooting this guy, pop, pop, pop. Goes down, someone shoots an arrow, says, oh, too slow, great move, oh shit. And then in the theatrical cut, he just shoots the guy and kicks him. No, in the uncut, he shoots the guy, he does a roundhouse kick, and then he continues to shoot the guy even more. So it's not enough, I'm going to shoot you, and then I'm going to kick you, but then I'm going to shoot you again. And then he kicks this guy and shoots him and some more as well. Or do you want me to talk about the scene where there's a guy coming who has a motorcycle helmet, elbows him in the face, takes his gun, has the gun sort of upside down, but he's able to do this to Sven Thorsen. Pop, 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 pop. Again, if Sven Thorsen probably got shot maybe 5-6 times at most in the theatrical. Here, it's like 30 times. Just pop, 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 pop. And then does a fantastic, one of my favorite 360 kits he did. Boom! It's like, suck it! Boom! Just right across the face. Like, yeah! And then this, this part's extended. I'm getting so excited, I'm spitting. This part's extended in the uncut version. Because when he says, you know, sorry about the shirt, pal. There's more bad guys that he shoots. That's not in the theatrical. Because he says, oh, give it a rest, pal. And then shoots like 2 more bad guys. Pop, 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 pop. There's a scene where he goes in, there's a guy up top, he shoots, pop, 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 which those bullet hits are cut out of the theatrical cut. A guy tries to shoot him, he gets out of the way. There's a part where he gets a shotgun, and he's going behind this rolling, I'm not sure what you call it, this little rolling thing. where people are shooting at him and he's shooting, pa 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 pa. There's a moment where he has he just has his wife beater shirt. Hey, John McClane had one. Why not Van Damme? The badass characters have that and wear it proudly. Hits a guy, grabs a shotgun, shoots, and the guy flies back as he gets shot. Ooh! Oh. Even Wilford Brimley and Yancey Butler get there, and they did some stuff. Some guy calls Yancey Butler a bitch. She shoots the shit out of him. This guy tries to get out of the way of Wilford Brimley's arrow, but Wilford Brimley's thinking, shoots over here, goes right through the back of this thing, right through the guy's neck. And there's uncut version, you see more of the arrow inside the guy's neck. Just so much action going on. So much fucking action. Even between Lance Henriksen catches on fire, and it's actually Lance Henriksen on fire, and he takes the coat off and slams him. I'm gonna rip his fucking head off. Fucking move. Even when he's shooting against Van Damme, he gets the kiss my ass gun that, again, if that gun's in front of you, you kiss your ass goodbye. And then Van Damme flips out of the way. Boom. I don't know why they took the flips out. Maybe they thought it was silly, but I thought it just made it more of that balletic, R-rated, holy shit action that John Woo was doing. It is, for the way John Woo does action scenes, it fits perfectly. There's just so much stuff going on in this. And also what's fun is that in the uncut version, a lot of this is going to the soundtrack to Aliens and the workprint version by James Horner. I'm like, wow, I'm listening to one of my favorite scores, Aliens, at the same time as one of my favorite action scenes of all time, Van Damme just fucking everybody up left, right, and center. It just is a beauty to behold. Even that's not in the DVD overseas. Like in the DVD overseas, a lot of this third act is in there, but not all of it. For example, there's an extended bit between Van Damme with a shotgun rolling on the ground and Lance with his gun shooting back and forth. There's more of that in the work print, and only in the work print. But it's not even in the DVD overseas, which puts some of it back, but not all of it. So for people who keep saying, well, the DVD overseas, that doesn't have all of it in there, though. It doesn't. It does not have all of it. It does not have all the action bits in it. It doesn't have when Van Damme shooting the car and the motorcycle chase. It doesn't have when, like I said, when Van Damme and Lance having their extended fight with, he has a shotgun, Lance has his gun. You just have so much stuff going on, and then you have Lance gets to a point where Lance stabs Wilford Brimley with an arrow, has Yancey Butler, and you have that great showdown after Van Damme's taking care of a lot of back. And believe me, there's other stuff that I haven't mentioned, but there's just so much stuff. Hell, watch it for yourself, for fuck's sake. Has to put the gun down, and Lance has his gun and tells her, load me. And you have that great face-off where it's a great showdown. It's like a Western showdown, but in an excellent modern age take where Van Damme is running slow-mo while Lance is getting his gun up. And I like the way it's done in the work print version a bit better. I love the theatrical version, but the work print, there's a little bit more angles when Van Damme does that. See, if that was the fuck you kick, what would this kick be? The super kick. Sort of the super kick you would see in a video game, which is awesome. Does that super kick? Yeah, I just love the build-up. I love the editing. I love the music that's played. Graham Revell did a great job on the music in that scene. But in the work print, you see a bit more angles, and especially this long shot from the back. Like Van Damme's here kicking Lance, and you see it from way back there. A bit more angles, and then in the work print, you get more of the idea that actually Van Damme used both legs when he went up to both feet hit Lance in the chest. Well, when I was a kid, I thought it was just 1 foot, but actually, if you see the work print, you see that he does, and he actually does, kind of what the hell you call it, kind of like Hagar in Final Fight. He does that move when he jumps down, hits both feet right into a guy's chest. God, I know there's a move, but what the fuck can't I think of the name of it? Damn it. I know someone's supposed to put it down below. And what's nice that for some reason this was kind of theatrical, the U.S. theatrical, but when he hits Lance, blood just spits out of Lance. Boom. Oh, before that, another cool moment when Van Damme jumps over, lands with the shotgun, shoots, and you see this big bullet hit go on Lance's shoulder, and he flies back. And that bit was cut out of the theatrical. That big bullet hit from Lance's shoulder. That was another great shot. Like I said, there's other stuff that I didn't say because getting ahead of myself, getting too excited. Now, after he does that kick, this is where one of the only things the work print suffers, other than like picture quality, but nothing you can do about that, is that in the original cut, when Van Damme did that, he just throws the grenade that he got from after killing Arnold Vosloo, and then it blows up. But in the theatrical, again, they probably had a test on and said, hey, let's have this go longer. And I like the longer bit. Because then Lance rolls. This is why I made my own version of it. I took the work print version. What I did was I took the work print version, but then I put in the theatrical cut of Van Damme kicking the guy's ass because I like Graham Revell's music. I cut out the little love story subplot they were going with between him and Yancey because I don't think it was needed. I switched the Lance Henriksen playing the piano so that it's the theatrical cut so you don't see the animals getting killed. And I added in the extended finale, where when Van Damme kicks Lance in the theatrical cut, Lance falls back, rolls, here's a flaming barrel, and kicks it, and Van Damme does a nice roll above it, and then Lance gets that wooden on fire, just slamming into Van Damme, and then that badass moment where he just grabs it, even though it's on fire, just grabs it, and you have that great roll-up where, kind of like in the uncut version with the shotgun, you see images of the innocent people that died because of this guy. And then Lance had the kiss my ass gun. Van Damme has the kiss your ass goodbye look on his face. Or I should say the kiss your ass goodbye kick, where he just slams up and down with his leg, breaking the fucking board in half. And just kisses shit out of him, kicking his left, kicking him with his right. Just kicking the fuck out. Nice, good, I don't know if you call them like good, solid kicks in the face. Just making the bad guys suffer. Which is what I like. I like seeing that in movies. I like seeing the bad guys suffer. You don't get that a lot in movies nowadays. You really don't. A lot of times the bad guys... Hell, in fucking Furious 7, which I did see bits of that, Jason Statham doesn't suffer. Vin Diesel just hits the fucking street, and Jason Statham disappears in the CGI land, so he could be arrested, I guess, to live another day in another movie. But here, you really get the bad guy suffering. Kick, punching him. Drop the grenade in his pants. Hunting season is over. Headbutt from hell where Lance Henriksen falls back. And then this bit actually grew on me where Lance, instead of just dying, he tries to get his pride in the way, disarm the grenade. Then the spark goes and Lance goes, whoops, blows up. And I actually like that now because I'm like, is that a bit too silly? But it makes it memorable and makes it fun. And then they find that Wilford Brimley's still alive. And then they go off to that great song, Born on a Bayou, down, 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 born on a bayou, which I know is in the trailers. And yeah, lo and behold, I talked about this for an hour. I guessed it. But yeah, this is my version that I edited together of the work print. which is a lot of the uncut stuff, and the theatrical, which is specifically the extended ending that they shot additional photography for after showing the work print version. I wish that all that violence was not cut out and it was put into the theaters back in 1993. I think this would have a better reputation. I wish this would get a... I know it technically has a Blu-ray release, especially overseas, but I'm talking about an actual worthy Blu-ray release, DVD release, where all the cut stuff are put back in. Not some of it, like the DVD overseas, all of it. Or have, hell, take my version that I edited together and make that into a Blu-ray. I would love that. Hey, Universal, take this version I edited together with the extended stuff and make that into a Blu-ray, DVD, whatever. Please do. Please, please. I know I'm not the only one who wants it. A lot of people want that. Hell, in America, the only way you see is if you can find the word print version, or if you have a region-free DVD player, you get the DVD overseas and you get to see only some of it. But I think this gets a 6.1, which is actually higher than I thought, but I think it deserves much higher than that. It's without a doubt my favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme film. It's my favorite John Woo film, because this is straightforward, fun, entertaining. It's a great adrenaline rush. It's a great adrenaline ride. I love Van Damme. It's at his most badass. I mean, he just fucked you clothesline kicks off of guys off their motorcycle. He's kicking a gas can in a guy's face, putting up a shotgun, blowing it up in a guy's face. He's jumping through while an explosion happens, sliding off, and puts like 50 bullets in Anavazu's chest. He does a super kick on the Lance, and blood comes out of Lance's mouth. I mean, someone shoots an arrow, he's like, whew, whew. Just, Grand Revel did a great job in the theatrical score. It fit the film well. John Woo, if you've only seen Hard Target, the theatrical cut, I urge you to somehow, some way, by hook or by crook, find the work print version and watch that. Watch that version. See the stuff that was cut out. See that stuff. By hook or by crook. Again, if someone gets shot twice, here, in the uncut, they would get shot 30 times. From 3 to 30. See, when people said, oh, John Woo sold out, you did not see the real movie. That's why you said he sold out. And I was always a guy that loved the theatrical cut. Now I always watch this cut. And if this DVD-R goes bad, I have a save on my computer, I'll make a DVD-R again and again and again to keep this cut going for me. I love this film to death. I can't praise it high enough. Lance Henriksen and Anavazu are great bad guys. Excellent stunt sequences. Especially that motorcycle going across the top of a vehicle, rolling to the back of it. Hell, that stunt with a guy going through the window as the explosion, and in one move, being propelled under the table, flip on his back, pop, 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 pop. I'm like, that stunt is excellent. Whoever did that, big props to you. That's a dangerous but holy shit stunt. You don't see that nowadays because it'd be done CGI or it's cheesy. Fuck that. If I want cheese, I'll get a fucking cheese sandwich. Grilled, please. This is why I wanted to do Van Damme Month, because I wanted to talk about this on my birthday. Because I love this film to death. I wanted to gush and cream my pants over for an hour. So, I love this film to death. I have nothing wrong to say. People say, well, the first half is boring. I think it's a good build-up to a very satisfying payoff. Great good guy versus great bad guys. Hardcore violence, action, explosions, stunts, simple plot that's straightforward, but it's also very fulfilling. It's an adrenaline rush. I love it to death. I miss these kind of movies. They do not make movies like this anymore. And that's sad. But it's true. And in fact, if they did, people probably would not see it anyway. So, Universal, get off your ass. Get some interviews with John Woo. Get some interviews with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Have more than one version. Have the theatrical cut, and then have the work print version cleaned up. Or, hell, take my version and clean that up. Please. I'll even give you this for free, Universal. it'll always be my favorite John Woo film because you have this badass action, great stunt work with one of my favorite action stars of all time, Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's his most badass, kicking ass, taking names, double guns, ba 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 ba, which I first saw him wielding double guns in Double Impact, and I like Double Impact, but man, this is even more so. One of my favorite action stars with a fantastic action director. John Woo, come back and make another movie like this. Or hell, another movie like Broken Arrow. That's another film I really love. But make another movie like this. Deal with Jean-Claude Van Damme, please. I know Van Damme's old, but he can hold gun. Have him hold a gun, have him shoot guns. He can do a couple kicks. If he can only do one 360 kick a movie, then have him do that. And again, I love that it takes place in Louisiana. It gave a nice feel to the film, especially the Mardi Gras graveyard sequence at the end. But yeah, I love this film to death. I can't praise enough. One of my favorite films of all time, and my favorite Van Damme film of all time, hands down. Hard Target. Don't hunt what you can't kill. So thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.